that we wanted to talk about the importance of observational listening for creating additional psychological safety in the workplace. Sure. So I'm wondering, Marcus, if you could expand on that. What's a step that leaders who are listening today could take to make their organization's cultures more psychologically safe?
I think the biggest problem with safety, with psychological safety, is if you do not feel heard as a person, how can you feel safe? So I think that this is really where observational listening comes in, is by being present, by listening, by aligning yourself with what's happening with the other person, you start understanding that other person. So that's one positive side, but the other person feels heard. And that the other person feels heard, this is, as far as I'm concerned, the most important part of psychological safety. So if you're actually aligning with what that other person needs, then you're also able to see when something doesn't match what they need. So let's take something simple. This happens very often. Something goes wrong in an organization. What happens? If you go on to the person and say, why the hell did you do this? This is a perfect example of how you're not going to create safety. Because you're actually pointing a finger, you're saying, you did something wrong, explain, defend yourself. Okay, defense comes from a part of your brain where you're not feeling safe at all. Defense comes from a part of your brain where anxiety rules and you have to survive. So you're in a sort of what I call survival consciousness. From your survival consciousness, you're not going to get real good answers. So this is a typical way in which you lack psychological safety in a team. So people need to get that feeling that I can be who I am, so I can be authentic, and I can tell things like they are. I don't need to worry that somebody's going to chop my head off. So an anxiety culture, for example, when things go wrong, you notice that straight away people start pointing fingers. They start saying, no, it's not my fault. It's because of this. It's because of that. They did something wrong. And you see all this finger pointing. That's, again, a sure sign of no psychological safety. And it actually starts with you as a leader. It starts with you as a leader to make sure that you create a space in which people are allowed to be authentic. And this is where that observational listening is an ideal tool. It's not an end, it's a means. It's a way of getting somewhere where you can understand people in such a manner that you can create that psychological safe space where they dare to be themselves and they dare to tell you from their talent and expertise what's necessary.